Welcome to The Warp. I'm Jack Rita, and I'm doing a series of videos where I look at the aliens from Cosmic Encounter and I try to pick what I think is the best one that starts with each letter of the alphabet. And we are on letter I. Now, there's only a handful of aliens that start with I, and they're all pretty good. I think any one of them is a pretty strong contender. For a while, I was thinking about Inferno because really powerful alien. It's collecting flares that other people play, and it has an alternate win condition that is very powerful and sneaky. There's a couple others too. Maybe it just depends on what it is that you're trying to do. Do you want to have a meta alien that's going to be bringing other aliens into the game that you get to play? Do you just want more encounters because you think that's the key to winning? But for me, it was Industrialist. So let's take a look at what Industrialist does, and I'll try to explain why I think it is the best alien in Cosmic Encounter that starts with the letter I. Now, Industrialist first appeared in published form in the Mayfair edition. It did show up before that, though, in Encounter Magazine. It was a fan-submitted alien, and Mayfair liked it, but they did alter it slightly, and so it was altered again by Kevin Wilson when it showed up in Cosmic Conflict, which was the second expansion for Cosmic Encounter in the Fantasy Flight Edition. So let's look at this one. You have the power to build as the Industrialist. So as a main player, after you lose an encounter in which you revealed an attack card, your opponent must either allow you to win the encounter instead of losing, or else allow you to place your attack card face up on this sheet, adding it to your stack. Your stack is not a part of your hand and cannot be drawn from by other players or affected by other powers. Now, this is not all of the alien, and none of that uses the alien power. There's no use or may use there. It's further explained that as a main player, after you reveal an attack card, use this power to either add or subtract the total of all the face-up attack cards in your stack from your side's total. For instance, if you have an attack 8 and an attack 12 on the sheet, you would add or subtract 20. So that is a big deal. Now, normally I'm not a huge fan of aliens that get something for losing. I don't think that that's a good way to start the game off, and it's harder to catch up. But I think Industrialist is the exception to that. Now, first of all, it's got that first clause of the alien power. So in your first encounter as Industrialist, as a main player, you're either going to just win the encounter, or even if you lose, you might end up winning anyway because your opponent doesn't want you to add whatever attack card you revealed to your stack. And so as the Industrialist, as a main player, you actually kind of do want to lose your first encounter, especially if you can do it while you're on the defense. So you're not giving up your turn, you're not adding to your score. And here you can play a mid-range card like a 12. I once played a 15 and lost as the Industrialist on my first encounter. So now I add plus 15 to all my encounters, and that's a pretty big plus. Even something like, all right, an 8 or a 10, that's a pretty good boost that you're going to have for the rest of the game because the stack doesn't go away. You just keep adding to it. So either you're going to win your subsequent encounters because you've got a plus 8 or plus 10 or plus whatever, or the other player is going to let you win the encounter so that you don't further add to it, or worst case scenario, you're going to add another card to the stack, and that can't be zapped. So you're just going to get stronger and stronger, and then for the rest of the game, boom, you're adding potentially a lot to your side. And you can subtract, if it's a situation where you've got loser or you've got antimatter or something like that, sure, you can subtract from your side. But most of the time you're adding. So that's why I think Industrialist is going to beat out those other aliens. With Inferno, the other players are just more incentivized to not play flare cards. So unless it's a really powerful flare, they're just going to sit on it because they don't want to give it to you because they're afraid that you're going to end up with 5 flares, and if 2 of them are Inferno flares, you just win the game. So that's not going to be very helpful. Insect is another I. It's a pretty good alien. It's got this meta thing, so it's a little bit like Reincarnator, a little bit like Chrysalis, because you're bringing these other aliens in later on in the game. That's also driven by flare use. So maybe that's not as strong. I do love meta aliens, and I think Insect is a lot of fun. And with Invader, yes, Invader's got its own special Destiny cards, and that's pretty exciting. You get the chance to refresh your hand. But if you don't have a really good hand, then having an extra counter is not necessarily going to help you out very much. And I've had a chance where I was like, oh, I've got some good cards. I don't necessarily want to draw a new hand. And even if you do draw a new hand, it might not be good enough to win. So I'm going to go with Industrialist because I think that is your best ticket, especially if you can fire early. And if you can fire early on the defense, even better. So let me know in the comments if you think that there is a better best alien that starts with the letter I than Industrialist. I think Industrialist is the one. And like I said, Kevin Wilson changed it and he made it more powerful than the previous iteration that was in the Mayfair edition. Make your case, though, if you think one of those other I aliens is the one. Or let me know that I'm absolutely right if you agree with me. That's it for this one, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.